Yo, what's up guys, Frosty here. Had the urge to play with some Wipeout HD today, since I love Wipeout so very much. And I decided to do zone mode for the hell of it for the first time in a long time. Just to see what would happen, because I can usually get up to 75. And I actually do get up to 75 in this video. Just barely getting to 75 before losing it completely, which would be your cutoff point for the trophy anyways. But yeah, zone mode, it's a pretty sweet mode. Came about with the release of Wipeout Fusion for the PS2. Essentially what it is. Well, actually, before I get started explaining what it is, I'm sure all you guys know what it is by now that are interested in Wipeout videos, because if you're watching this, you know about Wipeout, I'm almost positive. And I know I'm a bit late on this video, but I just felt like doing it, and I felt like recording it, so that's what I did. But yeah, back to the point of people that might be on my channel that have no idea about Wipeout because they don't play it, and they just happen to see it because they're subscribed to me. Thank you for subscribing. In this mode of the game, you do not have to thrust or brake. The only thing you need to do in this is steer. The game gradually will get faster as you continually race, and the bottom right, your points will continue to go up as you race. Speed pads giving you bonus points as well as barrel rolls. If you're not using the Wipeout XL HUD like I am, it'll look a little bit different, but I love the Wipeout XL HUD because Wipeout XL is my favorite Wipeout. That's the first one, obviously. But, yeah, so the game gets gradually faster in this mode as you play. You start off slower than the slowest speed class in the game, which is Sub Venom. Then it goes to Venom. Then it goes to Sub Flash and Flash, then Sub Rapier and then Rapier, then Sub Phantom, then Phantom, and so on. Phantom is the fastest class you can race, not in zone mode. All the other speed classes that are in zone mode are solely for zone mode. Although in the new Wipeout 2048, I have heard that there will be a Super Phantom class, due to the fact that I feel like a lot of us were complaining with Wipeout HD about Phantom being kind of too slow. I don't mean to sound like a dick or sound conceited when I say that, but in my opinion, I thought Phantom was pretty slow. As you get used to the game, and racing the tracks on Phantom ends up just being boring. Like it is really slow after a while when you get good at the game. Phantom doesn't seem fast at all. So Super Phantom is a bit faster, obviously, and I really look forward to seeing that in 2048, February 22nd, when it comes out. And all you guys should definitely get the PlayStation Vita for all your Wipeout needs. So yeah, you could actually get multiple trophies in one run of zone mode if you do it right. You can get the one for racing the perfect zones in a row. You can get the one for getting to zone 75. You can do it all in one shot. I technically get them both here, but you won't see it because I've already gotten them. I had them a while ago. Phantom. Because I'm crazy good like that. But yeah, I usually stop doing barrel rolls for the bonus points in this particular track right around Super Phantom. Because then you start wanting to, unless you're really in the zone, no pun intended. I kind of want to save up some of your health. As long as you keep racing perfect, you'll keep gaining health back from the barrel rolls. But once you get past Super Phantom, if you're not comfortable racing it flawlessly, don't do the barrel rolls because you're going to keep losing health and you're not going to be able to stay off the walls long enough to gain it back. So as a tip for you, if you're not looking for going for points and you just want to get the trophy, don't bother doing barrel rolls the entire time. They're not necessary. They're just there to give you more points if you're going for a higher score. An Alpha Pass is obviously the track that I'm doing. It's actually the easiest track to get this trophy on. In my opinion, some people have an easier time getting it in other tracks. I've always found that an open pass is the closest to an oval track that you're going to get in this version of the game. And, it's just easy. It's wide. You know, with the exception of a couple parts, it's relatively wide and straight. Like this area right here, you gotta squeeze through there. That's a bit tough with the higher speed classes in this turn. As long as you can get that turn right, you're good. And you're gonna want to take this top path for the majority of the time that you're racing here. There's a couple bends in the lower part of the track, and at the higher speed classes. Again, be cautious. You know, don't take that route if you don't feel comfortable with it. You're gonna, once you start bouncing off the walls really fast, you're not gonna be able to catch it back. And taking the top route anyways will give you more speed pads for point bonuses if you're going for that as well. You shouldn't really have to, there's not really any areas of this track, even when it gets really fast, that you need to use side shift, only to pull yourself off the wall in an emergency, and even then that might be a little too drastic. You could definitely kind of panic and way over adjust yourself over and over again, and you'll bounce off the walls like a ping pong. You'll see that later on in the video because I do it. So yeah, you gotta watch out for overcompensating your cornering and your turning when you're doing these zone mode challenges. Once you start, you know, losing it, it's very hard to gain your momentum back. And it's funny that they call one of these speed classes Zen, because when you're playing zone, like when you're really into it, like you're focused, like you do really well when you're really focused on it. You're just watching the track. But as soon as you take your mind off and thinking about, you know, that you're playing zone mode, you think about something else, or you blink or you glance away for a second, you can actually really lose it. Like you need to be in it. You need to be focused to be able to make it that high. Like for your zone 75 trophy, like it's not something that you're just gonna pick up and do. You really need to just sit down and pay attention to what you're doing. I mean, unless you've been playing for a while and you're comfortable and you're like, yeah, I can get to zone 75, you know, relatively easy, you're going to need to spend some time and sit down and focus on it. Like, that's the only way you're going to get it. So yeah, paying attention to the track. In these higher speed zones, the colors of the tracks are really misguiding. They're like, for instance, this one, the black with the turquoise lights. Sometimes your eyes will play a trick on you, and you can't really determine the exact edge of the track because it blends with the bottom of the track. So what you want to try and do is use the lights, like the two strips in the track, to kind of guide yourself along and try and stay within those as much as possible, and that'll just keep you obviously away from the sides of the track, and use those as your guideline as to where you want to be on the course. And those lines will actually guide you in a pretty decent rhythm. If you follow them, you won't. It's not going to steer you wrong. But the only chance you probably have of compensating yourself from hitting the wall is if you drag on a wall. You could pull off of it pretty easily, but if you really slam a wall, it's going to be a bumpy ride for a moment until you catch your bearings again. If you catch your bearings, which kind of sucks if you don't, especially if you make it really far and only to fail. But oh god, I love Wipeout so much. I can't say that enough, and I really hope that. Oh, I'm almost positive. I'm sure they're gonna have zone mode in Wipeout 2048. The only thing about that is, I think that it might be easier. The tracks that we know about or that we've seen videos of in Wipeout 2048, and it's been stated by the developers that the tracks are much wider in 2048 to emphasize more of a combat type racing game rather than a purely speed and skill type racing. So all the tracks are much wider this time around, which makes it seem like zone mode would be significantly easier to do. Obviously, it's easier to control yourself on a track that's much wider than some of the tracks, you know, in previous wipeouts, say something like Anita K, where the entire track is very, very narrow for the most part, and you know, getting to a really high zone mode in that is, you got to be really good to be able to run that. flawless without slamming everywhere, because those tracks are really, really thin. But I don't, as far as I know, there's no tracks like that in 2048. And, you know, I do hope that they remake some of the tracks. I mean, most of Wipeout HD was all track remakes. You had an Alpha Pass, you had Soul, you had Uber Mall, you had Benko, everything.
Mach 1.
You had Pulse tracks, Wipeout Pulse tracks, and Wipeout Beer tracks. So I'm excited about the new tracks in 2028. I'm not sure if there are. I'm not sure if there's any remakes, but I'm excited for the new tracks. It's just going to be a bunch of fun. Also, they are bringing back, you know, classic teams, you know, or kind of pirates, five-star radio systems, all that, and I really hope that they add a lot of new ships, or not add new ships, but bring back a lot of old teams that were excluded in Pulse and excluded in HD. Going back to, you know, Fusion, going back to, you know, Wipeout Fusion and Wipeout Pure. You know, you have a lot of really cool teams for DLC and just in general. You had, you know, Zeus, you have Card Racer, you have Van Uber. There was a lot of really neat teams out there, but they just never went back to the series. So, yeah, we're getting to zone 68, Mach 1. Not really sure if it's as fast as Mach 1. Not really sure. But yeah, once you get to these last 5 zones that you gotta do, you really gotta just put it out of your mind and pretend like you're not that close to getting it, because if you start looking like, oh my god, here's what I was talking about before, the slamming of the walls, the ping-ponging off the walls, that really fucks you up. And I'm actually surprised I ended up playing better this time, like, because I haven't played zone mode in quite some time, so I'm shocked I actually made this far. But yeah, try not to pay attention to how close you are to getting the trophy, because you can totally blow your mind off. I can't believe it. If you look right here, my health is near nothing, and I somehow managed to 6.5 just long enough to get to 75. I think then I ended up losing it right at 75. That totally wasn't planned either. That was solely the fact that I just fucked up at the end there, but I just barely made it. I think my best is actually like something like 80 something, almost 90, something along those lines. But yeah, there you go, zone mode in a nutshell. After playing for so long. If you need any other pointers or want me to do any more Wipeout videos, let me know, because I'd be down to do them, because I love Wipeout so much. Thanks for watching, guys, and bearing with me for these 14 minutes. Frosty out. Have a good one, guys.